Volkswagen 2007 2.5 liter manual Jetta clutch job. So as seen in many other videos, we took the battery out and the shift cables and lots of plugs. So I took the plastic wheel thingamajig, give me more space, T20, Torx 20. While the wheel was on the ground, took the CV constant velocity axle shaft. Here's your kit here. They call them XZN triple square long spline. I also got some short ones, but haven't used them quite yet. So the 8mm was the choice for those. So that held your shaft in. I already done the deed. I took them out. I ran an extension, 3/8 inch extension, so I could crank it at my leisure. Here's the gigantic 27mm. Was holding your axle on, and the tool, 3/4 inch breaker bar. See if we can read that anymore. Yep, 27mm 6.6-sided socket. Alright, what do I have to offer to this discussion? I started to take off these three things, greased them up with WD-40, but then I guess I didn't need to. That shaft used to be in that hole. I loosened that, took it out, and then screwed it back in several turns, and whacked on it with a hammer. Of course, not too severely, I didn't want to bust anything. And once that ran out of distance, I put a socket, something long enough to keep the whacking going. This I'll try to show you my setup. Keep the whacking going. So actually that's what I did. It's a 1/2 inch breaker bar, 1/2 inch to 3/8 inch adapter, and then a 3/8 inch socket. And that socket happened to fit deep enough into that hole so I could continue. Alright, well, let's just get a reading on that socket. Can you read that? It says, does that say 18? I don't know, it doesn't look like 18. Sure does seem to say it though. Well, it's got to have the smaller diameter than the splined hole, and it has to go deep enough so you can keep on whacking on it. So I just whacked right there. Of course, a lot harder than that. And at the same time, I guided the other end. I guided that up and above where it originally was unscrewed from. And up and above, and then we use this puzzle to see how to get it out. It's a pretty heavy sucker to lift with one hand. How am I gonna do this? Well, here's the secret. It comes out this way. I actually put this back in to demonstrate. Alright, so there it is. It's coming out. It's coming out. Alright, we've got a baby. Came out. Without undoing that lower ball joint. I mean, it's no big deal to undo that lower ball joint. You know, some people say it may mess up your alignment. I don't think it does, but hey, I just didn't need to do it. Great. It's out. There's my long splined with the extension. So that was like going into there. And at my convenience, I could then rotate, well, you know, counterclockwise, unscrew the bolts. Alright, let's see what else is going on underneath this vehicle. Yep, it's on jack stands, but that's a maxed out jack stand. Yeah, I should probably throw some tires under there if I plan to live to a ripe old age of 100. Alright, let me get on my little purple scooter there. Let's scoot under the car. Yeah, I'm going to try to show you one other little thing. Well, before I go down under, let's see if we can see the bolts holding the transmission. Let's get these out of the way. So that clutch. So this car also has the famous vacuum pump gasket on the. Have to undo that. Needs replacing. It's creating a heck of a drip of oil down, and then simulating the rear main oil seal leak, and that's why the car got sold for $700. Anyways, back there's a couple of more splined Toyota, splined Volkswagen. Looks like you can also go on the outside to get those two out. Now, let's look at this engine. Oh, okay, let me just go underneath the car to try to demonstrate what I wanted to demonstrate before we all get too bored of this. Underneath the car. So it looks like some more. Well, let's see if we can find it first. Where is it? I guess it's not here. It must have been put it in over here. Alright, well, while we're at it, so 1, 2, and a 3. And there are also, I'm pretty sure, this one Kind of look like it goes and bolts into the, to cement those two halves together. And I think there's one more over here. You can see it. I already counted that. Well, I don't know, maybe we're going to be still looking for something there. That's your oil filter. Possibly one more. Not sure. You can tell I'm not doing this but for the first time. Now this is some kind of a engine sort of mount. These two, okay, this goes in the hole. And I gotta take that out to demonstrate. So, I don't want to push that in too far, because I had to take a hammer and tap it hard here to get it to come out of its little rubber home in there. But there's a bolt that goes through there, and then up to there, through there, and up to there. And then, of course, that big one there that I just took out. So take this one out first before you take these guys out, because then this needs a lot of torque. I'm thinking that was, what size was that? I've kind of forgot, but it had some size to it. 13/16 come. I know it's all metric, but well, let's see. Does 13/16 do the trick? There's a 13/16 wrench, and yes, sir. It fits snugly. So this was taken out by a 13/16 12 point. And the old double up the wrench trick to get more leverage. Take that out. It's got a good grip. Now, what is this? So this, I took just to get it out of the way. I don't know if you needed to take it out. This sort of protective cover held on. I believe those are 216 millimeters to help more freely get at the spline. I haven't taken that off yet, so I'm not going, probably not going to take the plastic wheel well shroud out of the passenger side, because I can snake a long batch of 3/8 extensions to get at the the top seems to be better clearance to get pie. If you do it from the bottom, it seems to bump into that stuff as it's angled downwards. But check out the engine. Look at that. Without that, I guess that'd be an engine mount. Just a slight. It's really nice and loose. You can take and shake that. Shake it pretty good. So I suppose I'll be trying to take this, separate the engine from the transmission in the next video. And I guess I got a little engine, 2-ton from Harbor Freight engine hoist. I'll probably do something to okay. So there is two. That's one of your final engine mount bolts. You see there's the frame of the car. So you're going to have to support things and then lower. Well, okay, I'll get up there in a minute. But you can undo some bolts up top, which then allows this to freely lower until these are clear to take out those bolts, which then allow you to remove the transmission mount to get it clear from this thing. So it's not going to simply be a simple pull out. I think there's some amount of rotating, pull it a little bit and rotate and wiggle as things get in the way. So that's right there. You can see that's going to be a pretty close one. So this well, you got the body of the clutch in there, so this is going to be in the way. Okay, you could probably pull it out, but then you have to rotate it to let this, I'm guessing, I'm just all guessing here. So there's going to probably be a bunch of rotating, lifting, and lowering. And I've seen young fellows will just put that on their knees and take it out, but I ain't no young fellow, so I'm going to try to do it with a engine hoist. Got a little attachment from Amazon.com to perhaps allow me to do some rotating. We'll see. Alright, have a good evening. Catch you later. Oh, let's show you the engine mount, the transmission mount. So you first take these loose, which then now allows this to free fall, so you better have it supported somehow. And then to get this structure off of the transmission itself, we can actually see one of the bolts right there. We'll take that out, once it's lowered a bit. Alright, what else can we say before we sign off? The clutch, you see back there is the clutch master cylinder. I think, yeah. Now that clutch master cylinder is where you have the clutch position switch as well. That's where it's in the 2007. It's not it's not down by your feet while you're driving. So mine was taking all of my foot pedal travel to get it to turn the car on, the safety switch. So something's wrong. Another symptom is when you got the accelerator pedal on, and that's an electronically controlled accelerator pedal, but when you let up on the gas and then push in the clutch doesn't since the switch isn't closing or open, changing. It didn't know that you had pressed the clutch pedal. So the engine has still got some revs to it. So when it releases from the clutch pedal, your engine revs, up, which is a sign that something ain't right with that clutch position sensor switch. Now, strangely enough, I found the lowest price I could on Rock Auto for that switch. It was $29. And then on eBay, there's some seller with 100% positive feedback that had the whole assembly, the whole master cylinder, including the switch, for $18. Pretty remarkable prices out there. Also, those CV shafts, for about $40 each, you can get two. For under $100, you can get two brand new CV shafts. Of course, they're not the original VW ones, but for that price, might as well just replace them now that you got them out. Okay, have a good evening.